Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'll let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime, in the between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds, starting with dun, dun, dun. Jimmy, what's up? What it do? What it do? Yeah, it's going down, fam. I see Nisi in the comments. What's up? What's up? What's up? We got AT Alien Barbie. Okay. Jamie Collins. Miss Nancy. Poet. Who was that? Poet something? Antonio Campbell. What's up? What's up? I am C. Reed. S. Worthy. S. Worthy is in the house. S. Worthy. See, Barbara. What's up, Barbara? Toast. I see you. What it do? What it do? Toast to the most. Family, it's time to go in, boy. It's time to go in. It's time to go in. So many uncivilized mutts in this world, fam. I don't even know if we're going to make it. I just don't know if we're going to make it. The uncivilized mutts are everywhere. Let's start off with FBI agent who got himself in a bit of a pickle. Well, you know what? We'll talk about him. We're not going to start off with him. He got himself in a bit of a pickle. We're going to talk about him getting grilled. We're going to talk about the Speaker of the House, your Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who does not believe that Jasmine Crockett stands a chance. He does not believe she stands a chance in her Senate race. He does not believe it. He says, in fact, he says she doesn't stand a chance in hell. Now, that's what Mike believes. Obviously, Jasmine believes different, and we're going to talk about that shortly. Also, we got Representative Nancy Mace, who has introduced legislation to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza after Charlie Kirk. Yeah. But let's get started. Let's start with Shannon. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe had a lot to say about Sharon. What's his name? I'm tripping. Let me get his name here. Sherrone Moore. I'm tripping. Sherrone Moore, the former coach at Michigan, he got caught up in a major scandal. Man, this dude blew $14 million. $14 million messing around, trying to get some butt. $14 million, man. Yeah. The man allegedly stepped out on his woman. And, in fact, this is not the right picture. That's him on the right, but this is a picture that I'm gonna put up a little bit later, and I'll tell you what the significance of that picture is. But I wanted to put up another picture first. But this guy blew $14 million messing around with this chick right here. This is his assistant. I need to make sure that's the picture. Yeah, this is his assistant. $14 million messing around, stepping out on his wife and kids. So Shannon went on his podcast, Nightcap, with Ocho Cinco, and he had a few words to say about that. Shannon was saying that he understood because he's been in that situation already. You know, Shannon, I think he settled for like 20-something million dollars, something along those lines, with this chick that pretty much ran game on him. Another white chick. Look, white women, I'm not attacking y'all. You know, I'm not coming for you. I'm just saying there seems to be a pattern there, you know, with black men messing around with white women on the job and getting fired, losing millions and millions of dollars. I'm trying to remember, can I recall ever a black athlete or a prominent coach or anybody out there losing their life, losing their income, losing their lifestyle, their job, their position, being ran out the game over having an affair with a black woman? Maybe y'all can help me out, fam, because I don't read everything, I don't catch everything, but maybe there's something out there. Maybe there's some information out there, but I'm just not privy to it. This tells me that if you're losing that much, if it costs you that much, I would think perhaps I would avoid that because the odds are just not in my favor. You know, I'm not saying there's not a woman out there, a white woman out there that you can trust, that you can mess around with or whatever, and that she's not going to speak on it. But I'm just saying, like if it's me, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep it in my pants. I'm going to stay loyal and I'm just going to pick the one that I want. See, that's the best thing. When you get older, you understand that. Like, I wasn't always like this. But, you pick the one that you want, or you don't pick any. Like, have fun, date, do all that stuff. But when you pick one, you pick one. And then you typically don't run into all of those type of problems and things. But if you're going to step out, you shouldn't step out. Be loyal, fellas. Be loyal. But if you're not going to be loyal, if you decide you want to step out, I would probably just avoid white women altogether. White women, I ain't saying, I'm just saying, I would look, y'all got to understand that the numbers support what I'm saying. It's kind of like if you're going to argue with a cop, argue with a black cop, or resist with a black cop because he probably ain't going to shoot you. If you're a black person, you're black men, especially in this country, and you put up a fight and the police trying to arrest you, you're probably going to get shot. That's all I'm saying. If it's a black cop, you put up a fight, you're probably not going to get shot. Kind of like how when white people put up a fight and they don't get shot by the police. When they fight the police back or they talk shit, they resist, they don't get shot. Most of them don't get shot unless they're trying to kill the police. And sometimes they can try to kill the police and they still don't get shot. But if they got a gun and they popping, they might go ahead and drop them. They may go ahead and kill them. They may do it. But they really be trying to go out of their way to preserve life. So it's a connection there with behavior and outcome. It's a behavior that with behavior, certain groups of people, ethnicity, skin color, and outcome. There's a pathology there. This is science, man. This is not me. I know some of y'all might think that I'm wrong, but I'm just looking at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being emotional about this at all. I'm just looking at the numbers. Like, if it was opposite, like every time a black dude step out and get jammed up and he lose 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million because he was messing with a sister, I could understand that, I'll be, coming with some different information. I'm like, maybe you either don't step out at all, but if you do step out, try a white woman because they don't tell. Try Asian woman, they don't tell. Try the Latino because she stay quiet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going by numbers, fam. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But Shannon was speaking on this, and he talked about his situation and how he could relate to it. So, and who would know better than him, because he did go through a very public humiliation, and everybody has something to say. He survived it. It looked like he bounced back real strong. Which a lot of people could do that if they just understand that as long as you're breathing, you got action. Every day, you get two things. Every single day, you get two things. You get a chance and a choice. Every day, you get a chance and a choice. So he understood that, and he got through it, but it's still going to cost him some people talking slick about him and stuff over time. But man, everybody got their thing. And one of the things that I think that, I don't know if he mentioned that, or I heard somebody else mention it recently, but in regards to the storm, you're either going through the storm right now, or you're going into the storm, or you're coming out of the storm. So we all go through storms, all of us. So when you get in a jam, and like Sherrone is in, when you get in that type of jam, just know that you're just going through your storm, and you're going to come out of it just like everybody else came out of their storms. And if you live long enough, you're going to go through another storm, and perhaps another, and another one. So that's why, see, I don't even put that kind of pressure on myself. What I do every day is I try to wake up and be a better version of myself. That's what I do. I just try to wake up and I do me. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But I don't put the pressure on myself to be perfect, because I know that when you do that, you're going to get yourself in trouble, because it's impossible to be perfect. It's impossible. You can try. Ooh, you can try, but you're going to fail. It's impossible to try to please everybody. It's impossible. It's impossible to try to please everybody. It's impossible to be all things to all men. So I'm cool with the people who rock with me, rocking with me, and the people who don't rock with me, don't rock with me. I care about the people who rock with me. The ones who don't, I'm either indifferent or I'm F them. Because some of them, they got vitriol for me. So for those, I'm like, yeah, F you, mother. But the other ones, they may not even know who I am. Others may not even know who I am. So I'm indifferent. It don't really matter. They don't really matter. I'm focused on the love that I get, not the hate that I get, not the love that I don't get. I'm cool with that. But Shannon is on something when sharing his experience, because he didn't have to do that. He could have just been like, you know what, man, let me just be quiet and get back here and hide and all this here type of stuff, so that nobody will look at me and be reminded of what I went through. No, he putting it out on the line. I think that's admirable because he got a lot of stuff that he can talk about. He don't have to talk about this. They go viral damn near daily, him and Chad Ochocinco. They get big numbers every single day. So he ain't got to do that if he don't want to do it, right? But he spoke on it because it hit him. He had a message and he was trying to put it out there in hopes that somebody gets something out of it, that somebody learns something, that it helped somebody. Fellas, some of y'all youngsters out there, y'all, whether you play football or not, whether you a coach or not, whether you're a high profile figure or not, I want you to understand this. There's two things that a man have to control to reach his optimum, to have a chance at reaching his apex, to have a chance. You have to control his, you know what, you got to control that little head, you got to control that, and you got to control your emotions. If you can do that, not only will the world be yours, it'll be yours until the day you die. Because you can come up, you can be out of control. You cannot really be in control of your emotions and be in control of your small head and still make waves. You can still get out there and accomplish things and get money and all that stuff. But I promise you, if you don't get that under control, everything you work for, including your family, is going to be jeopardized. I can promise you that. You see what happened to Diddy? Diddy, man, I wasn't even going to watch that documentary. Wasn't going to watch the Diddy documentary. But I finally watched it. And man, save family. Let me get Shannon off the screen right here. Well, you know what? A few more comments on this on this Michigan coach thing. You know, just for y'all who don't know, you got Shannon Sharpe weighing in on Sherrone Moore getting fired from Michigan after he had an inappropriate relationship with a staff member, and then landing in custody hours later in an alleged assault case. Shannon said that his crew understands exactly what Moore is feeling right now, describing it like being in a storm where everything you've built starts crumbling around you and you're just trying to survive the fallout. Been there, he done that, so he can really, really speak on that. This guy, Sherrone Moore, they say that he had Plan Bs being delivered to the practice field or to the stadium, to his office by DoorDash. He got Plan Bs being delivered to his office by DoorDash, and that's what, you know, bust the case wide open. They said it was suspicious, and that's how he got found out. Come to find out also that he allegedly made the girl get an abortion. Let me tell you something, fam. If you persuade a woman to get an abortion and she wants that baby, it does something to women. See, it does something to them, and they'll never forgive you for it. They'll never forgive you for that. So allegedly, that's what he did. So he gets into an argument with his woman, his wife. He takes off. Then he goes to his side chick house and allegedly holds a knife to his throat, threatens to kill her and all types of stuff. He crashing all the way out. I'm thinking, how does a guy who has the penchant to do something like that. Become a head football coach, like a leader amongst men. You got to start having these psych evaluations. You got to have a psych evaluation. You got to, it's like these cops and stuff or in leadership positions. You got to evaluate these guys, man, because a lot of these guys mentally, they're off. Yeah. Mentally, a whole lot of these guys are way off. Let's get into this other story here. We got a FBI agent, FBI official Glasheen. He said Antifa is our primary concern right now. That's the most important violent threat we're facing. That's what he said. We got a top FBI official labeled Antifa as the top domestic terrorist threat facing the United States. But here's the deal, fam. He could not answer basic details about the movement and its structure. Michael Glasheen, a longtime FBI agent, serving as operations director of the National Security Branch, called the movement the agency's primary concern right now during a hearing before the House Committee on Homeland Security. Check this out, fam. You're going to. Boy, this thing this computer that I'm using is so sensitive. Any kind of little move and boom. So I'm gonna have to switch that up because it just kicked my files out. So now I gotta re-upload the files. So y'all bear with me. But this FBI agent spoke on Antifa, saying that there was the number one terrorist threat to America, but yet he couldn't explain why. Check it out.
Executive Board of Domestic Terrorist Organization, Antifa. That's our primary concern right now.
All right, that's what President Trump did. What does the FBI say?
We share the same view. When you look at the data right now, you look at the domestic terrorist threat that we're facing right now, what I see from my position is that's the most immediate violent threat that we're facing on the domestic side.
So where is Antifa headquartered?
What we're doing right now with the organization.
Where in the United States does Antifa exist?
Yeah.
If it's a terrorist organization and you've identified it as number one.
We are building out the infrastructure right now.
So what does that mean? We're trying to get the information. You say Antifa is a terrorist organization. Tell us as a committee, how did you come to that? Where do they exist? How many members do they have in the United States as of right now?
Well, that's very fluid. It's ongoing for us to understand that. The same, no different than Al Qaeda and ISIS.
No, I don't want you. I'll ask one question, sir. I just want you to tell us. If you said Antifa is the number one domestic terrorist organization operating in the United States, I just need to know where they are, how many people. I don't want a name. I don't want anything like that. Just how many people have you identified with the FBI that Antifa is made of?
Well, the investigations are active.
Sir, you wouldn't come to this committee and say something you can't prove. I know. I know you wouldn't do that. But you did.
Sir, you wouldn't come here. You wouldn't come here but you did. I just wanted to let y'all know, fam, for the record, being an anti-fascist is not illegal. However, lying to Congress is a felony. Y'all think he's going to be charged? You think they'll charge him? Being an anti-fascist is not illegal, but lying to Congress is illegal. You say, I know you wouldn't do that, but you did. You know, they did the same thing to the Black Panthers, but they didn't have opposition like that. You know, they didn't have members of Congress or any committee opposing when they said that the Black Panthers were, or any Black organization was the #1 domestic terrorist threat. But yet, they never identified in over 150 years of the KKK being in existence. They have yet to identify the KKK as a terrorist organization. Instead, you know what they did? They gave them a tax exemption status and as a religious organization. Right here in America, an organization that was founded in 1865, immediately after the Declaration of Independence was declared. These uncivilized mutts started the KKK. And let me tell you who some of the members were. Police officers, elected officials, businessmen, prominent members of society, judges, prosecutors, the local barber, the blacksmith, the bankers, all of them were KKK members. The KKK membership has always been diverse. They'll have us believe that the KKK is full of a bunch of rednecks, toothless rednecks, you know, with a first grade education. Now, don't get me wrong, it is. It is full of a bunch of toothless rednecks with a first grade education. But it's also filled with so-called respectable members of society. We're talking doctors also, family. We're talking doctors, educators. These uncivilized mutts would go into so-called polite society and do their business. And after they finished their business, they would get drunk and ride. They get drunk, they get high, and they ride. They go find Black people to lynch. This is what they did. You know, if they wanted sex and they were tired of getting it from their wife or their daughters and they couldn't get it, or they couldn't get it at all, she wasn't having it, they just go and find a Black girl or Black woman. Some of them like men, so they'll find a little Black boy or Black man and have their way with them. That happened. So when they say make America great again, that's really what they mean. That's really what they mean. Antifa is not the greatest domestic threat in America. The greatest domestic threat in America are young white males in their 20s and 30s. They're the biggest threats because they are the ones who keep stepping out committing mass suicide. In fact, I won't put it all on them though. Police officers are a big threat to America. To police, in fact, I think the police the police might be the greatest threat, might be the greatest domestic terrorist threat, because they kick up more dust on a daily basis and they have the power and authority to get away with a lot of what they do. The uncivilized mass shooter typically gets caught, goes to jail, or dies, typically. But the cop continues to ride, destroying thousands of lives, and they get to ride. They get promotions, they get raises. Yeah. Some of them got multiple kills under their belt. And all of the people they killed were non-white. Yeah. That's what's going on right here. So while they're quick to identify any type of organization that might be riding in the name of equity, inclusion, diversity, they're very slow to identify any one of those organizations like the KKK or the Proud Boys and any neo-Nazi you can pick out, any neo-Nazi organization. They are very slow to identify them as terrorist organizations. I wonder why. Why? Have you ever asked your government? Have you ever asked your local politicians? Have you ever asked members of Congress, why do they allow the KKK to exist? And why haven't they been identified as a terrorist organization? And why hasn't the FBI used its resources to bring them down, to shut them down? Why haven't they done that? Their record is clear. They have a very clear record of what they do and what they're about. The rhetoric that you hear from them on a daily basis, they tell you all the time, this is what we are. We hate y'all. We hate y'all. We hate y'all. And they promote murder. They promote chaos. They promote overtaking the government. They promote these things. This is the stuff they promote. You never heard the Black Panther talking about overtaking the government, overthrowing the government. You never heard that. But yet, none of these organizations have ever been identified as a terrorist organization. I think at one point they may have identified one of those groups as a terrorist organization. They turned it around and took it off the list. They took it off the list. So if you are an organization, you're part of an organization that is uplifting Black people, trying to protect Black people, or put the message out in a positive way, you're trying to help in any kind of way. If you're trying to, even if it's about getting health care and going to school and job initiatives, anything along those lines, you're probably going to be identified as a terrorist organization. That's where we are with it, fam. That's where we are. Let's get into this Jasmine Crockett video. We got the speaker, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, who believes that Jasmine Crockett will not be a threat to overthrow John Cornyn, who is the current senator in Texas. He has a spot that Jasmine wants. And according to Mike, Jasmine Crockett don't stand a snowball chance in hell of dethroning John. John been sitting perched up on that position for a long time. He's been good for a long time. In fact, he just knocked out, and back in 2020, he barely won, though, just by a percentage and a half or so. He barely won. He barely beat Democrat what was her name? What was her name? MJ or something like that. What was that? I can't say her name right now, but he barely beat her. He's the incumbent. He barely beat her in 2020. So Mike is saying that Jasmine don't stand a chance. Jasmine, who has a bigger name and who has more experience, he's saying that she don't stand a chance. But listen to him. Check out the words coming out.
Can I get your thoughts on Jasmine Crockett's run for Senate? What does it say about the state of the Democratic Party? And do you feel worried about her chances of winning at all?
I'm absolutely delighted that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to the Republican Party in a long, long time. She is the face of the Democratic Party, she and Mamdani. Good luck with that. I want her to have the largest, loudest microphone that she can every single day. And we look forward to having that election down there. We are going to elect another Republican senator in Texas. Texas is a red state. The people of Texas are common sense Americans, and what Jasmine is trying to sell will not be purchased by the folks of Texas. That is my prediction. Yes. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Let me address the whole people in Texas common sense. Not everybody in Texas obviously have common sense, and the ones that he's talking about, those are the ones who don't have common sense. And I really despise when people try to lump Houston in with all of Texas. Houston is a different animal. We're on a whole different level. Yeah, we got some uncivilized mutts here, but Buddy don't stand a chance getting the Houston vote. He don't stand a chance. Corin don't stand, none of them stand a chance getting the vote out of Houston. It's these other little pockets around Texas, these little one horse, one light towns. These are the ones who vote for people like him. These do-nothing politicians who actually are only in position to pad their pockets and subjugate and oppress. That's what they do. The old law. That's what they do. Pad my pockets. Let me subjugate. Let me oppress everybody that ain't rocking with me. Anybody that I don't like, let me make sure we keep them over here and us over here. That's how they get down. Like, so he ain't got all of Texas like he talking. Like, over the last few elections, the Democrats have been closing the gap in Texas. And in 2020, the gap was closed tighter than it's been in decades. And so Jasmine Crockett might just be the ticket that pushes through and knocks them off that pedestal. Because they've been having two Republican senators holding it in Texas for a long time. She may just be the one. She may just be the catalyst to push through. But when Jasmine announced her candidacy, they got nervous. And I do suspect that that's nervous confidence that Mike Johnson is displaying. You better believe they're worried about Jasmine Crockett. She ain't no joke. She ain't nothing to play with. So when he say, oh, this is the best thing that happened to us in a long time, I'm not buying it, fam. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Check out what Jasmine had to say for herself.
Fight for freedom and justice because the laws we write or fail to write shape the lives of millions. In Congress, I see firsthand how fragile our democracy can be when equity is treated like an inconvenience. Today's battles are not hypothetical. Voting rights are under attack. Reproductive freedom is on the line. And economic justice is still a dream for far too many. So I fight to make sure our communities are protected, not just in spirit, but in policy. My job is to put our values into law, to call out injustice in the rooms where decisions are made, and to ensure that progress is not a privilege, but a guarantee. Thank you.
Progress is not a privilege, but a guarantee. I see we got some Jasmine Crockett haters in the comments. It's cool, as long as y'all keep it as long as you keep it respectful, it's cool. It's cool. I ain't tripping on it. You can have your opinion. I ain't got no problem with that. But I can tell you this, Jasmine is going to cook John Cornyn. He's going to emerge as the Republican nominee. She is going to be the Democratic nominee. And she is going to cook him in the debates. He'll probably run from the debates. He'll probably try to avoid a debate by any means necessary. I don't even think I've ever seen Cornyn debate, but I know Jasmine is going to push hard for a debate. For all you people that pro John Cornyn, if you're so pro John Cornyn, you should be pushing for a debate so you can hear his ideas. You should want to hear your guy's ideas. You should want to see your guy shut down the opposition. One of the ways to do that is to have them both go head to head. Have them both, put them in a room, put an audience in front of them, and a moderator or two, and let them have at it. Do y'all see anything wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that everybody should push for that. Let's see the debate and watch how he gets shut down. Some people who don't like Jasmine, they cite, oh, she's for this, or she's just for this or that. Here's the thing. These politicians have multiple platforms. You're not going to be all things to all men or women. There's always going to be some things that you disagree on. A lot of us are politically immature. We think that every single item on the list has to be checked off. We think a candidate must check every single box. You ain't never going to find a candidate that checks every single box. There's always going to be candidates that have certain different views on this or that or that. You got to find the things that's most important to you. So if somebody is for immigration or legal immigration and you're against it, but that ain't the thing, that ain't the mountain you're willing to die on, why are you pushing that agenda? Why not be focused on the things that are your core beliefs, the things that you believe in the most? Why not promote that and say, well, I need somebody who is with me all the way on this particular issue or that particular issue. And if you can find somebody like that, then vote for that person. But trying to find somebody who agrees with all 75 of your issues, you're going to find trouble finding that person. You're going to find trouble finding somebody who is aligned, whose beliefs are aligned with all 10 of your issues. Even if you got 5 issues that you're passionate about, and you get 3 out of 5, that might be enough to get you where you need to be. And you work on the other 2. You work on persuading them to meet you on the other side. A lot of times I'm having conversations with people who have disagreements with each other. And I'm cool with this guy, I'm cool with that guy. The thing is that I can have these type of conversations with people who I don't agree with all the way, who sometimes do things that makes me give them the side eye. I can still have conversations with people like that because I don't get emotional about these type of things. I know, just like in your own personal relationships, your own spouse is not going to agree with everything that you do. Your own spouse don't even agree with all of your beliefs. How do you expect a stranger to? You got to find a middle ground. In business is a good business deal is a deal where both sides feel a little pain. Now, I know for some of y'all, that's an oxymoron. What do you mean feel pain? How is that a good deal if you're feeling pain? Both sides may want this. I want this. I'm passionate about this, that, and the third. I want this. Woo, woo, woo. Well, when you put a deal on the table, that deal is to be negotiated. That's why you have a contract. Contracts are to be negotiated. In most situations, you want to do business with me, I want to do business with you. This is what I want. This is what you want. If I seriously want to do business with you, when you make your demands or you say, look, I can do this, but I can't give in on this. I can give a little bit right here, but I can't give all of that. That's how you negotiate. You don't just say, hey, take it or leave it. That ain't life. That ain't the way business works. So you may not get everything you want, but you get most of what you want, or you get some of what you want, but you get enough of the stuff that you really, really care about. You get that piece. And perhaps, you do the contract, you perform well, and then when it's time to renew that contract or re-up, you work out an even better deal because now you've performed. See, I kind of look at politics like that. Like, I don't expect one politician to be passionate about every single agenda that I have. I don't expect that. And some of us, that's what we expect. And if we don't get that, we lose our minds. Just like even when I'm talking on the internet right now, I'm doing this show, and there are people who will say things like, oh, he said such. I stopped following him. I stopped following him. Like how? So let me get this straight. So you say you've been following me for 5 years. You followed me for 7 years. You followed me for 1 year. Do you know every year I make over 1,000 videos? I produce over 1,000 videos every single year. So that means 999 times you agreed with me. But on the 1,000th time I put a video out, and one time I put something out that you disagreed with, you decided, oh, I'm gonna follow him because I don't agree with what he said. Kick rocks, because I don't want your emotional ass following me. You're toxic. I'm cool with that. Man, I am cool with that. I realized a long time ago I cannot please everybody. I realized a long time ago I cannot be all things to all men and all women, so I ain't got no problem picking a side. I ain't got no problem. Because once I commit, I'm rocking with the team that I'm on. I'm rocking with my team, and I don't give a damn how you feel. I don't care what the other side think. I don't even consider them when I make moves. Anybody that's got a problem with me talking about these issues, you got a problem with me raising awareness, giving people information and instructions to help them navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. You got a problem with me putting corrupt law enforcement officials in their place. You got a problem with me putting these dirty, low-down politicians in place, putting them on blast. I want you to have that problem. If you got a problem with that, hell yeah, I like that. I'm glad you got a problem with it. Because my job is to make you uncomfortable. My job is to make your skin crawl when you see my face. I want your heart to palpitate. I want you to start hyperventilating. Call 911. Somebody call 911. Yeah, I want you to have a bad day. All kind of things. I want your brain to scramble. Yeah. Yeah, I come to bring it to you. Yeah. I come to ruin your day. I like Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is a fighter. Jasmine Crockett is a rebel. And I'm going to tell you something else. Jasmine Crockett is hated by mainstream America. We all know what mainstream America means and what it represents. So I do the opposite. Whatever they like, I dislike. Whatever they love, whatever they hate, I love. I'm not rocking with my enemies. I'm not putting somebody on blast once I find out my enemies have identified this person as an enemy. Oh, if they don't like you, I love you because I know it's something about you. You're not the status quo. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. That is the first thing that comes to my mind. Why are they putting this person on blast? Because we know they're up to no good always. We know that they don't care nothing about us. So if they're identifying somebody as an enemy, as a problem, that person probably is an ally to me. Or at the very least, that person probably is in the exact same shoes I'm in. They're in the same boat I'm in. So why am I attacking this person? Why am I allowing them to manipulate me like that? Why am I listening to what they say and taking it as the gospel? Why am I reading their articles and thinking that they're packing fair? Why am I regurgitating their data? This is data from people who do not like me or my people. This is data from corrupt, demonic people. Why would I trust their data? I keep hearing people saying that Black people are 13% of the population. For the first time, I think I saw somebody say 14. You really think that Black people are only 14% of the population? I think that number is closer in the 20s. It's got to be. I think that number is easily in the 20s. I don't trust their data. I don't trust their polls. I don't trust their surveys, none of it. I don't trust their numbers at all. I don't trust their numbers. Like the rest of us, Jasmine Crockett has her flaws. Get used to that. Politicians have flaws. Get used to that. They're not supposed to agree with everything that you say. They're not supposed to rock with everything you rock with. If you got a friend that agree with everything that you say, that ain't your friend. Because ain't none of us perfect. So ain't no way possible we gonna get it right all the time. If you got a significant other that agree with everything you say, you're not even living your best life. You're not even getting the best out of that relationship. You may as well, if your significant other agrees with everything that you say, you may as well be in a relationship by yourself because they are not contributing to your growth. Jasmine, I'm rocking with you. I'm rocking with you. I'm rocking with you. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't care what Stephen A. say. I don't care what none of them say. I'm rocking with you. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't give a damn what they say. I'm rocking with you. So, this brings me to somebody who I'm not rocking with. I am not rocking with this chick. I am not feeling her at all. Oh man, this chick right here, fam, she is one of the worst of the worst. In fact, I got a better pic of her. Let me put this pic up instead because this one makes more sense. Look at her. Can you smell what the D is cooking? This chick right here. This chick, Representative Nancy Mace, has introduced legislation to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza after Charlie Kirk. How? Why? You want to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza after Charlie Kirk. Okay, I get it, fam. You want to rename the plaza. I can think of 1,000 names. If you want to put a name on it, I can think of 1,000 names. Easily. I could think of 100,000 names that would be better suited to name that street after, to name the plaza after. There are activists who've actually done things in Washington, D.C. that have done credible things, honorable things to improve the conditions of the people in D.C. And that's through the years, that's in the thousands, any of them. You can name that plaza after. Beyond that, there are literally millions of people in this country that plaza could be named after. Charlie Kirk was a divider. Charlie Kirk was more demonic than he was angelic. This is facts. I'm not making this up. All you got to do is listen to him talk. Remember, y'all. Remember. Black Lives Matter was not the antithesis of white lives mattering. Black Lives Matter was to say it was an extension of white lives mattering. It was like, yo, Black lives matter, because we see other lives matter, not just white lives, but we see other lives matter. You show us that every day. Black lives matter. This bothers her It's so much stuff that is wrong with this country. And this is the mountain she decides to die on. It's so many real things that could happen in Washington, D.C. to improve the country, that to improve the lot of the people's lives in D.C., in the D.C. area. And she is focused on pushing legislation to rename a plaza. See, it's these symbolic gestures that these do-nothing politicians get involved with that makes people dislike them. It turns people off. It makes people jaded to the political process. If she is this petty and these are the type of things that she's thinking about, imagine what else she's doing at home. Imagine what other type of stuff she's into. You need, at this stage of the game, a list of all the things that this administration has flipped, all the things that they've changed. Just put the list together, and then as soon as their ass get out, this is the list. Okay, we know we're going to reverse all of this right here. Everything on this list, we reversing it. Boy, they better be lucky I ain't got the juice. They better be lucky. I would executive order, every single thing. Anything that has Trump name on it, I'm going to start right there. I'm going to start right there. I'm getting rid of every single thing that has his name on it. And I'm taking his picture out of the White House. That's right. I'm taking his picture out of the White House. I might take it and I might give it, what could I do? I think it would be a good idea to just get rid of it altogether. So I might just throw it in the fireplace. Yeah, I'm getting rid of his picture. Oh, absolutely. Fair exchange ain't robbery. That's what he's been doing. He's been getting rid of other presidents' pictures, putting them in the basement, putting them in low traffic areas in the White House, removing pictures. This is how petty dude is. This is how petty he is. These people, like her, like Nancy, they are extremely obsessed with blackness. They are extremely obsessed with blackness. For them to hate us so much, they really do think of us a lot. Yeah. I know I personally try to not think of stuff that I hate. I try to not even think about it. You know? Think about it, man, what it does to your energy. So I try not to think about it. They think about us all day, every day. DC got so many things going on that's wrong with it. She could have easily came up with some other legislation that could actually benefit her citizens. How is taking the word Black Lives Matter off of this plaza going to benefit DC? And how is replacing it with Charlie Kirk going to improve this country overall? Charlie Kirk was a cancer to this country. He was. I know that's hard for some of y'all to stomach, but tell me, what did Charlie Kirk say to unite us? I'm talking about all people. I'm not talking about what did he say to make racist white people feel good, but what did he say to help us out? What did he do to improve society? What did he do to be mentioned in the same breath of JFK and Martin Luther King, besides being assassinated? And even his assassination shouldn't be mentioned amongst the assassination of Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy or Bobby Kennedy or any of our other heroes, like true heroes. What did he do? He's not even on their level. He's not even remotely on their level. So you let this chick right here, you let her talk enough, let her move around enough, and she'll tell you who she is. She'll show you who she is. See, but here's the thing. They could pull that Black Lives Matter up. That don't mean nothing. Those just words anyway. Just words. Black Lives Matter, the organization, shouldn't even carry as much weight as it does. Black Lives Matter should be an attitude in your mind. It should be in your heart. It should be in your actions. You should move in a way where you believe Black Lives Matter, where you exhibit that on a daily basis. The way that you deal with your fellow Black brother or sister, that's indicative of Black Lives Mattering, right? You know, the way you take care of yourself, what you choose to put in your body, that tells me Black Lives Matter. See? That's how we do that. What you put in your body, what you drinking, you know, how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your children, how you take care of your significant other, how you look after your elderly parents. You know, that's how you show that Black Lives Matter. The way that you create industries and jobs for Black people, where you reach out and help somebody up. You give somebody a helping hand. Not a hand out, but a hand up. That's how you show that Black Lives Matter. So we don't even need the organization anymore. They made their point. We don't need the organization, and we don't need the words written on the street. That's something that you carry in your heart. That's something that you carry in your heart. Black Lives Matter. See, they can erase a name on a building or a street. They can erase that. They can destroy a building. They can destroy a person. What they can't destroy is kindred spirits. When it's in your spirit, they can't do nothing with the spirit. They can't do nothing with that. So as far as I'm concerned, hey, wash it away. Now, if I lived in DC, I wouldn't want to see anything about Charlie Kirk at a plaza, and I wouldn't visit that plaza because I don't want to look at his name on nothing, because it's just a daily reminder of who he is and what he represented. But it's also a reminder of the type of people who is in government, the type of people who is writing laws. These are the same people. These, make no mistake about it, these are the descendants of slave owners. Make no mistake about it. These are descendants of slave owners. So they tell us to get over it. Why we got to always bring up slavery? But they tell us this as they continue to do things that's consistent with what their ancestors did. Yeah. Subjugate, oppress, break, steal, kill. But we're supposed to just, I guess, suffer in silence. Nah, man, silence is complicit. Silence is complicit. So I'm not with none of that. I'm not with none of that. at all. Going into the comments. Who we got here? Brian Gore. What's up, Brian Gore? What it do? Brian Gore. Corrupt country. What's up? Yigwaba. What's up, Yigwaba? What it do? Bughorse DC. What's up? Let's see who we got here. Musician Harriet Xavier Palmer. What's up, Xavier Palmer? What it do? Corrupt country, amazing love. You know, I got this. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this right here. Hold on. I think that y'all would be interested in this story right here. I saw this. Want to see what y'all think about this right quick. So check this out, family. Candace Owens is over on the right causing havoc. It's no secret that Candace and the late Charlie Kirk were besties. And since his death, Candace has committed her time to solving his murder. Recently, Candace has accused Charlie's wife, Erica, and other members of their organization, Turning Point USA, of knowing more about Charlie's demise than they're letting on. She claims there are a lot of people hiding information, including Erica, and she won't stop until all is revealed and the people who killed her best friend is exposed. In one of her many videos regarding Charlie's assassination, Candace claimed that multiple people close to Charlie knew he was scared for his life, but they didn't do anything about it. She claims he allegedly texted his security, "They're going to kill me tomorrow," the night before his murder. She then questioned why his closest peers are now quiet about that when they know the truth, seemingly insinuating his murder was premeditated by someone in power. Naturally, Erica hasn't taken well to these claims, and she's begun calling out Candace on a national stage. Earlier this week, she was on Fox News asking Candace to leave Turning Point USA alone. When Candace continued to talk about her conspiracy theories, Erica decided enough was enough. During a CBS town hall interview, Erica just had a few stern words for Candace, who she believes is doing more harm to Charlie's legacy than good. Stop. That isn't it. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop, Erica said as her face turned up. Candace immediately responded to Erica, telling her to point out what she lied about. Candace claims everything she has been saying is factual and that it's Erica and Turning Point who has done the lying. Candace says it's not right for Erica to only walk or want to talk about positive things, but never wants to point out the serious questions herself and her supporters have been regarding the situation. So she never wants to point out the serious questions herself and her supporters have regarding the situation. Okay. This is a story I saw on Neighborhood Talk IG, which is a pretty good IG channel to follow. I want y'all to check this out. Let me see if I can get this thing started from the beginning and get the right one in here. Let me share this with y'all. Share screen. Let's see. Is it this one? Okay, here we go. That's the screen. That's Erica. Look at that look on her face. So this is Candace Owens talking.
They pre-recorded this. Obviously, I told you this yesterday from about 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. I have sources just everywhere, CBS News, the people that were in the audience I showed you were emailing me, and they had to do multiple takes because Barry wanted to read a prompter. These questions were pre-submitted, okay? And I would like to respond to this loaded question. What would you like to say? The podcaster Candace Owens, and I'm not even going to address and doing ballistics on YouTube. If you catch a bunch of views, they want to convince you that like you wake up and you turn into a millionaire. Building her business. What are you talking about? I already had this business. I was already at the top of the charts. Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I actually did because it's so ridiculous. Okay. But she says, I'm lying. And Eric responds, and her answer to what do you want to say to the podcaster Candace Owens, who is lying? So this is just, to me, I'm going to also let you know, they pre-recorded this. Obviously, I told you this yesterday from about 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. I have sources just everywhere, CBS News, the people that were in the audience I showed you were emailing me. Owens, who is lying, is stop. So Erica would like me to stop lying. And I would like to honor that. Okay. I can only honor that if Erica is more explicit in terms of what I have lied about. What did I lie about? It's just incredible. There have this opportunity. The questions have been preferred. You could just start like going through them. Maybe they will. By the way, it's coming out on Saturday. Maybe I've made a mistake somewhere and I'm happy. I want to correct that, right? I'm not interested. My goal is not to tell lies. It is obviously plausible that I have made mistakes. I've reviewed these lists that we've put together and I can't find the lie, okay? The lies that I find are coming out of Turning Point USA. Owens, who is lying. What I can tell you is we also received a tip. Is
the podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Look how she looks.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop. The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one.
Okay, so there you have it, fam. Erica Kirk wants Candace Owens to stop. I will say this, fam. I've absolutely had my issues with Candace Owens in the past, but I will say this. If she really truly believes what she's doing, if she's if she really believes what she's saying, that's honorable, because that is very dangerous, what she's saying. Many of the people who work with, I'll say, that support Turning Point USA, they're uncivilized. Many of them are unhinged. Many of them have no problem killing. So for Candace Owens to continue this narrative, to continue to bark up that tree, is very dangerous. See, some of us, we follow this type of stuff, and we get so intrigued, and we laughing, and we're supporting, and we're talking, but we don't understand that these words have consequences. So, I'm not wishing death on Candace Owens by any means. I'm just saying what she's doing is dangerous, and you never know when somebody's going to turn a threat into an action or reality, because it's a lot of uncivilized mutts out there, fam, and they don't have the capacity to have a civilized discussion or disagreement. It's either their way or no way. These comments, these accusations that she's been making about Turning Point got millions, tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars. They're sitting on a lot of money, and they got a lot of juice. They got a lot of members. They got a lot of juice. So for Candace to stand on business the way that she's standing on business, you got to salute that, because I don't know a lot of people who will put their life on the line intentionally. A lot of people run their mouth and they'll talk that talk, but they don't realize the imminent threat that they're under. And that's why they get their heads knocked off, because they be thinking it's sweet. They think everybody playing with them. Next thing you know, they get their head knocked off. Candace appeared to be extremely aware of the dangers that are out there, and she's still pushing. I got to call a strike, and a ball, fam. Got to call a strike, and a ball. It seemed like to me that Candace is fighting harder for Erica's husband than she is. Erica didn't seem, maybe she was, I don't know what it is, man, but she just didn't come off authentic to me in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death. She didn't seem like she really was sad. She seemed like she was not going to have a problem switching gears and moving on. She seemed like she is ready to just go. Like, yeah, man, got him out the way. Let's do it, baby. What's up, JD Vance? Let's go. Trump, you want some too? Come on. I'm serious. She just don't seem to be a grieving widow to me. Her reactions are performative at best. The way she was crying and there was no tears, it just was not believable to me. It's just not believable to me. That's all I'm saying, fam. Maybe it's believable to you, but it was not believable to me. The way she hugged JD Vance, remember when she hugged him and she had her hand on like this around his the back of his neck. You know how when a woman cradles your back of your head? the way a woman would cradle a baby or maybe her son or somebody she's intimate with. Seemed like, that's how she grabbed him in the back of his head like that and cradled it like and hugged him real tight. And she did that kind of same thing with Donald Trump, during his memorial. And Trump was on the stage cheesing like, I got this, girl. Got this. So does that mean we can talk on the speakerphone now? I don't trust her, but I don't think anything will become of it. I don't think that she'll ever be exposed because I think that this thing is bigger than what they're trying to make it appear to be. I do not believe that the guy who they have locked up is a lone wolf. I do not believe he acted alone at all. I do believe that that was a conspiracy to take out Charlie Kirk. I think it was way bigger, and I'm not fooled by the comments that some of these people at Turning Points have been making. I'm not fooled by none of that. I'll tell you this, it doesn't sound like Candace is fooled either. She seemed to be she seemed to be authentic, because when I first started watching her give her take on Charlie Kirk's death, I thought, well, maybe she's just a little emotional right now because her buddy died. Maybe she's emotional. Maybe, she's playing the blame game like a lot of people play when people die close to them. You want to blame somebody. So maybe she was on that tip, and maybe that somebody was going to come forward with some information to quell her fears and be like, hey, you know what? It's not what it appears, what you're saying it is. And here's proof to that. Here's proof to that effect, right? Here's proof. And, that never happened. She has been on the gas and has not stepped off of it since we got news that Charlie Kirk was killed. So, and I don't think she's going to step off that gas either. I don't think she's going to step off that gas. But what she's doing, I don't know a whole lot of people who would take that chance. I do not know a whole lot of people who would take that chance. D. Thompson, what's up? T. Gallagher. Leak You Official. What's up, Leak You Official? I ain't seen you around these parts in a minute. Where you been? Nina, what's up? What's up? Charlie Kirk's alleged killer causes outrage as he laughs, smirks during his first court appearance. Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'll take a look at that right quick. This is Charlie Kirk, alleged killer. I want to take a look at that story real quick. Let me pop that up on the screen. Okay, here we go. Charlie Kirk's alleged killer causes outrage as he laughs, smirks during first in-person court appearance. But he got a death wish, huh? Tyler Robinson finally appeared in person in court for the first time after his arrest for the alleged shooting of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, the 22-year-old whose attorneys have pushed to ban cameras in the courtroom, arguing media coverage could jeopardize a fair trial, was recorded laughing and smirking, sparking fury online. Tyler Robinson faces aggravated murder and related charges for the September 10th shooting of Charlie Kirk at a Utah Valley University and could be given the death penalty if found guilty. We can stop right there. How many of you believe that he will be given the death penalty if found guilty? Give me a thumbs up if you say, yep, they gonna kill him. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, he got the complexion for the protection. They ain't gonna kill him. They're not gonna kill him. Thumbs up if you think they're gonna kill him if he's found guilty. Let me back up. When he's found guilty, thumbs down if you say, nah, no such thing's gonna happen. Let's see, we got Julian, or is that Julie Russo? Is that Russo? Russo. That's Russo. That's Russo. Ru would be Rousso. Okay. Connie Hodge down. Pamela Brown down. Harriet down. TC down. Anita down. Soul Vibration down. Iguaba down. Maya down. Eric down. Queen Shay down. Angela Dadnack, what up? Down. So, looks like y'all don't think they're going to kill him. I think they're going to kill him. What better way to complete the cover-up? I think they're going to give him the death penalty. I think they're going to absolutely kill him. During his first in-person court appearance on Thursday, lawyers for Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk, urged the judge to block cameras from the future proceedings, a stance sharply opposed by Kirk's widow, Erica, who has demanded full public access. Robinson, 22, entered the Provo courtroom wearing a blue button-down and patterned tie as his legal team argued that recording her hearing could influence potential jurors. Judge Tony Graff initially permitted limited filming, and more than 2 hours of the session took place behind closed doors. Let's take a look at that beautiful beam footage.
When we can show it, and there you see Tyler Robinson now as the attorney steps away for this preliminary hearing. We've got an all-star lineup of guests ready to break down what happens during the day today. Let's go first of all to our correspondent, Matt Finn. He's outside the courthouse in Provo, Utah. Set the table for us, Matt.
Well, John, this is the first time we are physically seeing Tyler Robinson in court on your screen right now. And I believe the woman in the hair clip who is facing away from the camera is his lead attorney, Catherine Nestor. This is the first time he is in person in court here in Utah County. He has appeared virtually a few times before. And now outside of that courtroom that you're looking at right now, fierce, intense security, several city blocks cordoned off, all types of police in every direction. And a short while ago, we saw a very large police caravan arriving to the courthouse, going into the Sally Court, and a massive armored vehicle in the middle of that caravan, who we can assume was perhaps Mr. Robinson being delivered to this courthouse. Some of the doors are zip tied, so all types of measures being taken to make sure that this proceeding happens safely and securely today. Now, on the docket today, perhaps one of the most important issues, there was an October 24th hearing in which Judge Graff determined Robinson will be allowed to wear civilian clothing in court, as you see on your screen right now, but he has to remain shackled. Now, also in that October 24th hearing, general security measures and other issues of fairness in this trial were discussed in a closed portion that both the defense and prosecution requested remain private. The judge here granted the request that portions of that October 24th hearing be sealed, but then an attorney for the media.
There it is. So here's the deal, fam, on that. Well, you know how when in trial, a lot of things go on. When you're in a courtroom, you're on trial, a lot of things happen. And, you know, you're having conversations with your lawyer. You know, if you're sitting at the table, you might say something. Your lawyer might say something that's funny. And even in a serious moment, you might let your guard down and laugh about it. Most people say, well, you know, that's human nature. You know, that's just how I go, whatever. Well, the thing about it is that you're being scrutinized. You got a microscope on you when you're in that courtroom facing some allegations like that. And they're looking for any sign of remorse, or they're looking for any sign of intent. Like, who is this guy? You know, did he do this? Did he want to do this? Is this guy and he as evil as we think he is? So if they see you, they catch you laughing, they catch you smirking, knowing that your life is on the line, you know, they're going like, oh yeah, we got the right person. We absolutely got the right person. So you don't want to laugh even when it's funny. If you're in a courtroom, you want to be game faced. The judge, the jury, and even the prosecution, even if you're not guilty, they want a person who appears to be humbled. They want a person who appears to be remorseful, you know? And you ain't got to be remorseful that this person died. You ain't got to be remorseful for this person being dead, but you can be remorseful that somebody actually took a human being's life. You know, you ain't got to be remorseful in the sense that, oh yeah, I'm remorseful because I killed the person. You can just be remorseful about the fact that a human being lost their life, right? So that piece right there is all psychological, it's head games, but you never want the jury or the judge or the prosecutor to see that you have a moment where you look like, you know, you may be guilty of what you're sitting there and going through, you know, for what you're sitting there going through. Look, I was watching the Diddy case, and the Diddy case, during the Diddy case, Diddy was mean mugging the jurors at one point. I thought that was really a bad thing to do. I don't know how he did, but he overcame that. Like, I saw him, I saw the, when I'm saying I'm watching, but I'm saying I saw the drawing of Diddy mean mugging. And then they were also saying, I had somebody on the inside who was attending the trial. And he told me Diddy was mean mugging the jury. And I'm like, he mean mugging the jury? How does that work? And so you saw an illustration. That was actually an illustration done where the court artist actually distributed an illustration of Diddy mean mugging the jurors. I'm like, man, this dude, he asking for it. You do not mean mug the jury because now they scared. If you were trying to make them scared, okay, now they're scared. So they're going to put you away. So speaking of Diddy, I did watch The Reckoning. And I can tell you that I wasn't going to watch it at first, but something came across my desk and somebody wanted me to check out a certain part of the documentary. And I'll just tell you that it was more informative than I thought it would be. I thought that it would be much of the same of everything that we've seen, but after watching that documentary, it's a good thing that he's already went to trial. He already went to trial and he got his judgment, because if not, they probably would have gave him a life sentence. If they had put that documentary out before he went to trial, he would probably be facing a life sentence right now. He'd probably be doing a life sentence right now. I did not know Diddy was so diabolical. Yeah. I was like, damn. They were talking about all of these artists that wasn't paid, that didn't get paid. And this is the inside people. So it's different. This is not just a rumor. This is not just an artist saying they didn't get paid. This is the guy who's keeping the books, saying how Diddy went out of his way to not pay artists. I was like, damn, how did he get away with that? They say these people went on tour and everything. Diddy was just not paying these artists. He didn't want to pay them. And the co-owner, the guy named Kirk, I think his last name is Burroughs, but that guy was a strong witness. He was a strong interviewee. He was like, yeah, man, Diddy would give these people just enough so they can come back and so that they would always need him. He wouldn't pay the artists what they were owed. I'm like, how y'all? And he had a lot of artists. And I'm thinking like, man, how you let somebody owe you money like that? It couldn't have been me. I'm telling you straight up, fam. Just like you serious about your money, I'm serious about my money. And once I had children, I didn't even look at it like it was my money. I started looking at it like it was my baby's money. Oh yeah, you know you're gonna fight for your babies. Yeah. I was like, damn, how'd that happen? Craig Mack's wife told a story of how they were down and out financially. And Craig goes to this club, it's a party going on, and he sees Diddy, and he asks Diddy for some money. She said Diddy pulled out a wad of money, all hundreds, and peeled off a $100 bill and gave it to Craig Mack and walked off. Whew, that's cold-blooded, man. I couldn't do it. I'd rather not give you nothing. If I know, I'm just not gonna give you nothing. I'm gonna neither give you nothing, I'm gonna give you something. I'm not finna pull off I'm gonna pull out, this is my artist. Saying he down on his lucky knees, something he's suffering. First of all, my artist probably wouldn't even be coming to me unless he overspent. First of all, he would have had his own money anyway. I would have paid him what I owed him. That's me. I would have first and foremost paid the man what I owed him. That's what I would have done. But let's say for whatever reason he needed something and he said, man, he hurting, he needs something. Why would you pull out you're going to pull out a wad of money, all hundreds, and peel off $100 bill? See, that is the type of stuff that get dudes robbed and killed. That is the type of stuff that will make a person walk into a courtroom and point at you like the Jackson 5. Y'all know what the Jackson 5 point is? That's Jack. You know what I mean? Have pointing at you like the Jackson 5. You got to pack fair, man. You got to pack fair. You got to pack fair. Now, if you pack fair and then relationships still don't work out, then that's what it is. But don't let it be on you. Let it be on the other person. Don't let it be on you, man. That was not cool. That documentary, the cold part about the documentary is Diddy is telling on himself in the documentary because they have video recording of Diddy's final days before he gets locked up, where Diddy has a videographer following him around, recording his every move. They're recording him talking to his lawyer, which is something that should never be done without the lawyer being in on it. The lawyer didn't even know he was being recorded. So Diddy is just breaking protocol all the way around. He really betrayed his lawyer. If you're ever recording anybody, you shouldn't let people know. If you're on the phone and on a speakerphone and you talking to people who you rock with, you talking to your lawyer, you talking to a friend, your whatever, you need to let people know that they're on speaker. Unless you're trying to set them up, unless you're trying to expose them in some kind of way, that's different. But if a person believes that you're having a personal, private conversation, you should have that enough integrity to make sure that that conversation is personal and private. Just like a lot of times I see people releasing these text messages from their associates and friends and family members and significant others. They're releasing text messages. Well, look at what this person said. Look at what this, so this is why, fam, when you don't know the electronic devices, just assume that somebody gonna see those messages that you may not want to see those messages. Any message that you send, any message, whatever it is you're talking about something freaky, you're talking about doing something sneaky, whatever. Assume that one day that message could end up in a court of law, being read out loud by a prosecutor or a defense attorney. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Diddy was bound to get caught up. If you look at the last year or so, last year before Diddy got popped, last year and a half or so, you can see Diddy was high, Diddy was drunk. Diddy, and I just summed it up like, oh, he just, he seemed like he going through something. Because it was just too many days in a row that you would see him look like if something looked off. And I was like, yeah, he going through something. I didn't know what it was, but I could tell he was going through something. I didn't know if it was grief. I didn't know if he had legal issues or personal issues, family or whatever, but I knew he was going through something because he just seemed to be out of his mind in that year or so prior to him actually getting caught up and being locked up. He did not seem like he was in his right mind. And even though he had all of that money, that at the end of the day, that money couldn't save him from being publicly embarrassed, being arrested, being locked up in prison. It couldn't save him because eventually, man, if you moving in that type of way, especially if you're black, if you moving in a way where you're out there hurting people, if you're hurting people, you're gonna get caught up eventually. That money the money can hold off the authorities. The money can hold off the killers. The money can hold them off. But it ain't gonna save you. It ain't gonna save you. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen it happen too many times. Get that money, man. You get that power. And money make things move. Money make people move. You get so used to using money to solve your problems that you don't know any other way. You think money is going to be the answer for everything. You know how some people think violence is the answer or insults is the answer? Some people, their default is insults. When somebody make them mad, do something they don't like, they insult, right? Some people, they hit as soon as they get mad, like a little baby, you know how little babies, some little babies are violent. Really, they hit. Some people are like that. Their default is to strike, is to be violent when somebody do or say something that they don't like. Their default is to be violent. People with money, especially large sums of money, like infinite money, anytime there's a problem, they just throw money at it. Anytime there's a problem, they throw money at it. You know, they beat up somebody in the club, throw some money at it, make it go away. Throw some money at the lawyers, make that go away. If some chick get mad at them because they caught them cheating, throw money at her, you know, buy a ring or send on a shopping spree or something, make it go away. Just throw money at it. She'll be all right. You know, just throw money, throw money, throw money. And then at some point, the money can't save you. Money can't save you. Now, it could buy you some time. So it may have bought him some time had he paid Cassie. It would have bought him some time. Had he paid Cassie, the money would have bought him some time. But once he didn't pay Cassie and Cassie filed that lawsuit and he turned around and gave her that $20 million, it opened up the floodgates. Everybody realized that the big bad bully had been injured. Somebody was able to injure the big bad bully. Somebody finally was able to injure the big bad bully, and it was little old Cassie. And then next thing you know, everybody, oh, he's doing it like that? He's stroking checks like that? Well, here go my lawsuit. Here's my lawsuit. Here go my lawsuit. Here's a lawsuit. Here's a lawsuit. Here, lawsuits coming out the anus. All it takes is one. This is why I always say, challenge the bully. Don't let the bully push you around. Always challenge the bully, because the bully ain't as strong as you think he is. One of the greatest ways, I'm going to give y'all some major game right here. This is some major game. When you don't have money, when you can't match the bully's money, you can't match the bully's power, and the bully do you wrong, expose the bully. Exposing the bully levels the playing field for you. The bully does not want to be exposed. The bully is counting on you being too afraid to expose him. Expose the bully, and you level the playing field. T. Gallagher, yeah, I'm with you on that. Cassie absolutely isn't innocent. She absolutely isn't innocent. But I'm talking about Diddy right now. I'm talking about what he did, not just to Cassie, but to numerous people. If we are to believe that story that his business partner told, where he went in and with that bat and pressured him to sign over his 25% of Bad Boy. Whoo! We ain't even got to the accusations of knocking people off and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. And as bad as that is, they probably left some stuff out. That's my time, fam. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more